Crochet by Katie Humes. Today we are going to be making this super cute little guy. His name is Charmander, and he has this awesome little flame tail. Anyway, I'm super excited to get started. We are going to go ahead and use some materials here. Okay. The materials you're going to need for this little guy is a 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. Again, if you want him to be a little bit smaller, you can always use a smaller hook and the same pattern. So I'm using a 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. He's about 3 inches tall and about 3 inches wide. So he fits in the Pokemon ball that we originally made. So get your hook, scissors, yarn needle, and an embroidery needle, a stitch marker if you would like. You do not have to have a stitch marker. You can also use a piece of yarn if that works better. The colors of yarn that we're going to be using today is pumpkin orange, bright yellow, cream or off-white, this is cream, lemon yellow, and hot red. I like this one. I use 4-ply and I use red heart yarn, but you can use any yarn you like. And we will need embroidery thread, black and white. And I also use tweezers for the small details. And the felts I use today are black, white, a light blue, and it's like a peachy pink color. It's pinkish. So, and Fabri-Tac, and a metal pet brush. So I like this one. It is called Spectacular. Like a little pet. Anyway, I bought it for my cat and I only used it once. And then I found out that it works really good to brush yarn out. So I like it a lot because it's not too rough so it doesn't damage the yarn while I'm brushing it out. Anyway, I will show you that technique. It's one of my favorites. And I just think it's super fun to get this furry effect. So, the flame effect. All right, let's get started. To begin, we're going to be making the head and body of Charmander first. And we're going to start with the pumpkin orange. We're going to go ahead and make a magic ring. And we're going to put 6 single crochet into the magic ring. I will show you the first 2 stitches and then I will meet you at the end. 1, 2. Okay, you're going to want to put 4 more of those into this magic ring. Once you get your 6 stitches, go ahead and pull that tight. Next, we're going to be doing an increase in every stitch around. So you're going to do 2 single crochets into each stitch around. 1 single crochet, and I like to make sure and get this tail crochet over it so that you do not have to sew it in later. So there's our first one and 2. So there's the first increase. So you're doing 2 stitches in every single stitch. And at the end of round 2, you will have 12 stitches around. So I will meet you at that point. I have just completed round 2, and I have now 12 stitches around. And now what I'm going to do is clip this extra yarn tail. We do not need it. You already crocheted around it. Time to get rid of it. For round 3, you're going to be doing 1 single crochet and then 1 increase for your pattern. So you will do 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 2 single crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, 1, 2. You'll continue that pattern all the way around until you get to the end of the round. And at the end of the round 3, you will have 18. I have no idea why I said 13. 18 crochet stitches. So 1 single crochet and then your increase. 1 and 2. And at the end of this round, you will have 18 stitches. So I will see you when we get to the end of round 3. I have just completed round 3 and I now have 18 single crochet stitches all the way around. For rounds 4 and 5, it's going to be 2 rows. We're going to be doing 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So here's where you can grab your stitch marker and go ahead and put it right in that very last stitch that we just did. And you're going to want to single crochet all the way around until you get to that stitch marker. And you're going to do that twice for 2 rows. So just 1 single crochet into every stitch around. I have just finished round 5, and that was the second row of 18 stitches around. And if you get lost in counting, you can always count back around starting at this stitch right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you go all the way around and you should have 18 stitches. Our next round is going to be 6 single crochet, 6 increase, and then 6 single crochet. So to begin, we'll do the 6 single crochet. 1, 2, and I will meet you at the end of that 6 single crochet. I'm coming to the end of the 6 single crochet in a row, 6, and now I will be doing 6 increases. How you do an increase is you do 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So 1 single crochet into that stitch, and the second single crochet into that stitch. So you want to do that 6 times, and how I count that is I just do 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, and I continue that until I get to 6. To finish off round 6, we need to do 6 single crochets. So we did 6 single crochets, 6 increase, and now we'll be doing 6 single crochet. So 1, 2, and do all 6, and you will have 24 stitches at the end of this round. Round 7 is easy peasy. You're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. So 1 single crochet into every stitch. 1, 2, and continue that around for 24 stitches. I have just completed round 7 and we now have 24 stitches around. We're going to do round 8 now, and round 8 is 6 single crochets, then 12 single crochets in the back loop only, and then 6 single crochets. So we will continue to have 24 stitches. So first of all, 6 regular single crochets, 1, 2, and I will meet you at the end of that 6 regular single crochets. So I just completed the 6 regular single crochets. Now the next step is 12 single crochet in the back loop only. So in crochet we have 2 loops. We have the front loop and the back loop. Normally we crochet through both loops, but this time we're only going to be crocheting through the back loop only. So that is this one, the farthest one from you. So 1, 2, And you're going to continue that for 12 stitches. 3. So I will see you when we get to the 12th stitch of the back loop only. I've just finished my 12 stitches in the back loop only, and you'll see that it creates a little bit of a ridge. And this is the beginning of his mouth. Now, we're going to finish the round with 6 single crochets in both loops. So it's a regular single crochet. So there's 1, 2, and then go ahead and finish that all the way till you get to 6, and you will have 24 stitches around still. I have just finished round 8, and we did 6 single crochet, 12 single crochet, back loop only, and 6 single crochet. To finish the round, we had 24 stitches. For round 9, we're going to do 6 single crochet, and then 3 single crochet in the front loop only, 2 half double crochets in the front loop only. So we're going to be doing a couple of stitches in the same stitches. So I will show you what we're doing. So first of all, let's do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, I will meet you on the 6th stitch. Okay, I'm not sure why I said we were doing any together. We are not putting more stitches in or doing any stitches together. All we are doing is 3 single crochets in the front loop only. So this time, instead of going into the back loop, which is right here, we're going to go into the front loop, which is right here. And we're going to do 3 single crochets into the front loop only. 1, 2, and 3. And that was in the next 3 stitches. It wasn't together, or it wasn't decreasing or increasing. Okay, now the next one is going to be 2 half double crochets in the front loop only. So we're still only working in the front loops. So to do a half double, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So that was our first half double crochet. We are now going to do that a second time in the next stitch over. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, now for the next stitch, it should be the center of the head. You'll be doing a double crochet in the front loop only. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And if you need to see these stitches slower, I have a basic stitches video that you can watch. Now, the next 2 stitches we're going to be doing half double crochets in the front loop only again. So here's our half double and our half double. And then in the last 2 stitches of the mouth, we will be doing 2 single crochet into the front loop only. So 1 and 2. Oh, just kidding. It's 3. 3. 1, 2, and 3. Next, you will do 6 single crochets, regular single crochets, to finish this round. 1, 2, and continue that until you get to the end of the round with 6 regular crochets. And at the end of round 9, you will still have 24 single crochets around. And you can see, once you get to the end, that you're starting to shape like this, kind of looks like a football player's helmet. But what we're going to do is sculpt that yarn so that it creates the mouth, just like that. So, we're moving on to round 10, and on round 10, it's just going to be 6 single crochet, 6 decreases, back loops only, 6 single crochet. So again, I'm going to do these first 2 with you. 1, 2, and then I'm going to meet you on stitch number 6 of this row. So continue that for 6 stitches. I will see you in a second. I've just completed the first 6 stitches of round 10. The next 6 will be 6 decreases in the back loop only. So you're going to want to go into the back loop only, pull up a loop, and then go into that next stitch over, pull up a loop, and you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. That is the first decrease. So one more time, we're going to go into the next stitch in the back loop only, pull up a loop, then go into that next stitch over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Now repeat that 4 more times because we just did it twice. So you want to be making this mouth area smaller. You want it to decrease. So 4 more times, and I will see you in just a minute. I just finished the 6th decrease, and you can really see the head starting to form a shape, like a head shape. Now we're going to do 6 single crochet to finish the round. So 1, 2, so finish up all 6 of those last stitches, and at the end of round 10, you will have 18 stitches around if you count back. So I will see you at the end of round 10. At the end of round 10, you want to start to begin lightly stuffing the head. And I just put a little bit in there just to hold its shape, because we will be adding more stuffing as we go. Moving on to round 11, we are going to do 18 single crochets around. So 1, 2, okay, and then you're going to continue that all the way around till you get 18 stitches all the way around. I have just finished round 11 with 18 single crochets around. We're going to now begin decreasing. So here's where we really want to stuff as we go. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit more stuffing. And the first decrease round is going to be 2 single crochets. Oh, no, we're not decreasing yet. We still have to make the body. I'm so silly. Okay, so we're going to be increasing. So we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase, and we're going to get back up to 24 stitches. So you're going to want to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and then your increase, 1 and 2. Repeat that pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, until you get to the end of the round, which will be 24 stitches. I just finished round 12, which was 24 single crochets on an increase round. We have 1 more increase round, and this is going to be 3 single crochets, 1 increase, and at the end of this round, round 13, we will have 30 stitches around. So 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and 1 single crochet into the next stitch for a total of 3 regular single crochets. And then your increase, 1 and 2. Continue that pattern all the way around, and at the end of round 13, you will have 30 stitches around. I've just come to the end of round 13. I now have 30 stitches around, and for rounds 14 and 15, which is going to be 2 rows, you're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So it will be 30 stitches around for the first row and 30 stitches around for the next row. So it will be a total of 60 stitches around. Or you can put a stitch marker in and do 30 and 30. So I will see you at the end of round 15 after you have completed 60 single crochets or 30 of 2 rows of single crochets. I have just completed round 15 with 30 stitches around, And now we are going to begin our decrease, and we're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1 single crochet, another single crochet into the next stitch, and 1 single crochet into the next stitch, so of a total of 3 single crochet into 3 stitches. And then you're going to do your decrease. Continue that pattern around of 3 single crochets into each stitch and then a decrease, and you will have 24 stitches at the end of the round. I have just completed round 16 and I now have 24 stitches around. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little more stuffing in at this point. The next round, round 17, will be 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So you will do 1 single crochet into the next stitch, one single crochet into the next stitch, and then a decrease. Continue that pattern of 2 single crochets, decrease, 2 single crochets, decrease, all the way around until you have 18 stitches around. I've just completed round 17, and we're going to go ahead and stuff him as full as you can get him now. You want to stuff him as much stuffing as you want. And the next row is going to be 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. And at the end of that row you will have 12 stitches around. I will show you that now. One single crochet, 1 decrease. Alright, continue that pattern all the way around until you have 12 stitches remaining. I have just come to the end of round 18 and I have 12 stitches around. I'm going to now do a slip stitch, insert your hook, yarn over and pull that all the way through. Then I'm going to leave a little bit of a yarn tail and I'm going to clip that tail. And we need the yarn tail for the yarn sculpting. So we did the slip stitch, so just go ahead and pull that through, pull that tight. And to close up the bottom of the Charmander, I'm going to thread my needle, and go through the front loop of every stitch around. Just like this, all the way around. This is my favorite way to close up amigurumis because it gives them that nice little circle on the bottom that I love. So you're just gonna go through the front loops of every stitch. It'll be 12 stitches that you're going through. And you're basically making a decrease on every single stitch, just not doing it with the hook. You're just doing it with the needle, which I just think it turns out looking much cleaner, and I just really like this technique. So I don't know if it has a name, but I'm to my last stitch, and when you get to that last stitch, you just go ahead and pull it, and it makes it a nice little circle. And then go ahead and sew that up. Sew it so it gets nice and tight, and then your bottom and top match. Okay, I'm going to finish sewing that up, and I will come back and show you how to do the yarn sculpting. Alright, so once you get your guy sewed up how you want him sewed down there, I could have added more stuffing, it's a little bit flimsy. So you can always add more stuffing, I mean not now that he's sewn up, but before you sew this up, if it's looking a little flimsy, you can add more stuffing and that won't happen for you. So you're just going to want to go back up through and come out his mouth. I did the very center of his mouth first. So try and come out, well that's not really the center, but I'm going to get it up there. I'm going to go through the center of the mouth, and then I'm going to catch one little string right there and go through the very back of his head. And I'm going to pull that tight, and it pulls in his mouth, and it kind of makes it a little pucker. And now you're going to go back in through that same exact stitch in the back, and you're going to come out on one of the corners of the mouth. And go in and come out the back of the head. It doesn't have to be the same spot. It can if you want it to be. Now, continue that technique all the way across to the other side of the mouth, and then you will have this shape, like a mouth shape. I'll come back and show you once I'm all done. Just keep going back in through that same stitch so that you don't have any, you don't want this to get pulled back. You just want the front to get pulled inward. Okay, I have the mouth pretty much finished how I want it to look. We will be adding a little piece of pink felt right here, so don't worry too much if it's not exactly perfect, but you can see how it really pulled in the shape of the mouth right there. Made it look really nice. Now what I do at this point is I leave this tail. The reason is I've got 2 arms that get sewn, and I tie those arms together. 2 legs that get sewn, and then I tie them together and hide the yarn tail. And then I have this one tail that comes out the end, and it's nice to have something to tie the yarn tail's tail, the Charmander's tail, that's funny. Anyway, it's nice to have this for tying in later. But I'm not going to leave it that long, it's super long. I'm going to just trim it about right there, because that's plenty long to be able to tie. And the next thing I do is I add the face details before I add the belly and arms or tail. So face details are next. Our next step is creating all of the details of the face, and I just like to do this part before I put the arms and tail on and the belly. And all I do is I cut my felt into small squares so that I can really work with it a little bit better and easier, because the eyes aren't very big. So just cut your squares, and then for the mouth, the pink, peachy pink color, what I did was I took my felt and started at one corner and went to the other to see how long I'm going to need, and then I'll just trim the shapes. So for the mouth, you're going to need kind of a half moon shape, and for the eyes, for the black ones, it's almost like 2 black ovals, but then cut in a straight line at the bottom, and then the white are 2 white ovals, and then the blue is a crescent moon shape. So I'm going to do that all off camera, and I will meet you back here when I get all of those shapes cut out. So as you're cutting, I find it helpful to just hold it up and make sure that the pieces are going to fit. So I've got my mouth, and it fits there nicely where I want it to fit. And then the eyes especially, you just want to make sure that it's going to fit and look like it's going to be uniform to the piece. So just a quick little tip on cutting. And then what I do for things with 2 pieces that I want to be exactly the same, I take the first piece and I lay it on there. It's kind of hard to see with black. So I will lay it on there. Pretend that this white is another black piece of felt. and basically just cut around. You could trace, but the felt I find sticks really nice together. So, yep, I just stick it on there and cut around it. And that's how I get my pieces to look as closely as the same as possible. So I like to line up all my little pieces. Sorry, the camera's a little bit far away. I like to line up all of my little pieces for this part, and this is where I use my tweezers. So I'm going to grab the fabric tack, and I'm going to start with the white one. And I'm going to put a little of this on the white piece. And then I'm going to place it directly on this. I'm going to put it on this one. Whoops. It's just really, sometimes it can get difficult working with these tiny little pieces. Okay, and I'm going to trim that as soon as the glue dries. And then the next one I do is the blue piece. So just grab the blue piece. The blue piece is super tiny. Get a little, oops, I think I got too much. Another little trick you can do is use a pen and just poke it on that glue, and then you can kind of stick it on there. Anyway, that's drying. I want to work quickly because it does dry quickly. This is really difficult on film. Just in case anyone was wondering. I feel very clumsy right now. Okay. So we got it on there. I'm going to stick it on and hold it for a couple of seconds. And hope that everything sticks together good. It's bugging me too bad. I had to trim it. So that will be this eye over here. The white parts go a little bit on the inside, so it kind of looks a little cross-eyed, but every picture I looked at, that's kind of how it was. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to do the other one off camera, and that's just how I put it together. A few little tricks. You can, put the glue on a pin instead and paint it on. I hope that was helpful. Okay, so while the eyes are drying completely, I just kind of set them to the side. Now we're going to do his eyebrows and his nostrils. So we're going to go in between about the 4th and the 5th row. And so I'm going to kind of, you know what? I'm going to put this here so I know where the center is. Ow, I stabbed myself. There's the center. I'm going to put his eyebrows like this. 1 and 2. So we're going to go in from the top of his head. And I'm going to go in right here. Okay. I'm just going to put that over there. That way I have kind of a guide. And then I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to come down again. And now I'm going to come down where I want his nostrils. And I want on directly on the side of this yellow pen. So kind of make sure that your eyebrows look even real quick. Because if not, now's the time to just take them out and try again. And I'm going to take this out now because I've got my center. You can really see my center there. And I'm going to put his nostrils right here. Let me look at this really fast. I feel like it's too far over. Anybody else think that? I'm gonna go back in. I hope I can. And put his nostril over here instead. Yay, it worked. Okay. So I'm gonna put his nostril right here instead. Looks like it's up too high to me. Okay. What are the odds that this will work for me? One more time. I don't know. Put it down a little. Oh, good, it worked. Okay. So, yes, that's much better. I don't want him too high, and I don't want him too far to the side. Okay, so now for real. Here's his nostril. Ah! I lost my yarn. I'm going to have to re-yarn my needle, re-thread my needle. So there's his first nostril, and then I'm going to put a second nostril right there. As soon as I get this re-threaded, yay! When we make mistakes, it's okay. You can always fix them. Okay, most of the time. Sometimes you just have to start all the way over. And that's okay too. Alright, so we got that nostril. I'm going to go with this nostril. And I'm going to take this out the very back because we're going to tie it off and be done. Alright, I'm going to tie that off. I'm going to be happy with it. This one's a little bit, kind of manipulate it after. There. Cute. All right. I'm going to tie these strings off in the back, and I'll see you in a minute. The next thing I do is I take the mouth and I get it into place and I glue it where it needs to go. So I'm going to take, oh, it hopped away. Did you see that? I'm going to take the mouth and get kind of a lot of this stuff on it, so it's going to stay in place. All right. Line it up. And press it down. And I hold it down for as long as it needs. All right, I'm going to keep holding this down and I'm going to get on in just a second. Okay, after that is in place, I go ahead and I glue on my eyes. Okay, and then I hold those down as well. The last face detail I add are his teeth. So he has two larger teeth on the top and two smaller teeth on the bottom. I tried to make it look like a size difference, but it's a little difficult, so just do your best. I take my needle and I go in right there in the side of his head, and then I come out where I want the tooth to be. And I'm doing a French knot is what it's called. So I'm going to wrap the yarn around, this is embroidery thread. I did not mean to say yarn. 5 to 6 times for the top teeth. And then insert it a little bit over, not in the same exact spot, but a little bit over, and then come out where you're going to want your next tooth. Over here. And pull it a little bit slow. And then you have your first tooth. And now do that right here, and then 2 a little bit closer together on the bottom. And the 2 on the bottom, I only wrap the needle about 4 times instead of 5 to 6 to make it just a little bit smaller. The next piece of our little guy we're going to make are the arms. So I'll show you how to make these little fingers and this little arm. Begin with a magic ring of 6. I already did it off camera. If you need to see how to do it, go to the beginning of the film. So do a magic ring of 6, and then round 2 is going to be 6 single crochet in the back loop only, and I like to hide this yarn tail as I go along. So in the back loop only, 1, 2, and I will meet you at the end of round 2 after you have done a single crochet into each stitch around in the back loop only. And the end of that round is 6 single crochet. I have just come to the end of that round, and because you did a back loop only, you should start to see this kind of flattening out. So I'm going to clip this yarn tail. And then for round 3 through 5, which is 3 rows, you're going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and continue that all the way around for 3 rounds of 6 single crochets all the way around. So it would be a total of 18 single crochet. I have just come to the end of round 5 for my arm, and you can see it's formed a nice little arm shape. We're going to do a slip stitch in the next stitch. Going to trim, leaving a bit of a tail because we're going to make the fingers out of this tail. And we will also be using the tail for sewing on the arm to the body. So go ahead and grab your yarn needle. And to make the fingers, we're going to insert the yarn back down through the arm, and we're going to come out of that center hole. Then we're going to go through one of these small stitches on the front where we left our back loop only, where we left some loops. Pull it through and go through that loop back and forth, back and forth. I do it 3 times. And then I go through those 3 little stitches that I made with the needle. Yeah, if I can get it in there. Okay. Nope, that I can't get it in. Oh, right. Maybe. I don't know why it's not wanting me to go in. That's odd. Anyway, usually I can go through all 3 of those. I guess not. Okay, and then I go back down through that. Then I go through the next one. I don't know why this isn't working. Okay, let's try again. 3, little sewing stitches. And then you go through those 3 little stitches that you made. There. Now, I give him 4 fingers. So we've done 2. I do a 3rd one here and then one on this side so that it's like a thumb. Okay. So go ahead and make 2 more of those and I will see you in a minute. Once you get all 4 toes sewn on, go up through that little hole and bring your yarn through like that so that it's ready for sewing on to the body. Okay, so next we are going to sew the arms on to the Pokemon. So go ahead and line your arms up where you want them. I already sewed this one on, and I like to go about right here. And basically just get it on there, and then I can spin it the way I want it. And then go back and forth through these little loops. Now I like to get him doubly secure because it's a child's toy and you never know what they're going to be doing. Oh, and just ignore this tail still, just leave him, because you're going to tie these 2 together and hide them down in. So just go in and out in that fashion and fasten down the arm as tightly as you need it. If it's just going to be sitting on a shelf, then you probably don't have to do as many, but if it's going to a child, then I would definitely secure it in place. So the next piece we're going to be making is the tail. And you're going to start the tail with 4 single crochets into a magic ring, and I already did that so we could save time. So go ahead and make your magic ring and put 4 single crochets into the magic ring. Now we're going to be doing 1 stitch in every stitch, so 4 stitches for round 2. 4 single crochets. So here's our first single crochet. Second single crochet, and continue that until you have 4 single crochet all the way around. Go ahead and clip that yarn tail, and mine is folding in on itself, so I was going to show you. Just pop that out really fast, kind of like a belly button. Okay, nice and popped out the correct way. And put your hook back in. Now for round 3, it is exactly the same as round 2. You're going to be putting 1 single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 4 stitches around. So 1 single crochet, and continue that all the way around for 4 stitches around. Round 4 is 1 single crochet, 2 increases, and then 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, an increase in the next stitch, one and 2, an increase in the next stitch, one, 2, and a single crochet to end that round. And you will have increased to 6 single crochets around the top. So for the next round, round 5, you're going to do 6 single crochets around. So 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So 1, I will meet you at the end of that round. I have just completed round 5, which is 6 single crochets all the way around, 1 single crochet in every stitch. And for round 6, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 2 increases, and 2 single crochets for a total of 8 stitches. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, so 2 stitches into that same stitch, a second increase, 1 and 2, and 2 single crochets to end the round, 1 and 1. And now you will have 8 stitches around, and you need to go for round 7, go around and single crochet in every stitch around, making 8 stitches around. I have just completed round 7, which was 8 single crochets around, 1 single crochet in every stitch. And our round 8 is going to be 3 single crochets, 2 increase, 3 single crochet. So 1 single crochet, 2, 3, and now you need to do 2 increases, so 2 stitches into the next stitch, 1, 2, another increase, 2 single crochets into the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then you need 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. That completes round 8, and you will have I didn't write it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 stitches. I have to write that down. You will have 10 stitches at the end of round 8. So for round 9, you need to do 10 single crochet, 1 stitch in every stitch. I have just finished round 9, which is 10 single crochets all the way around. So 1 single crochet in every stitch around. And to finish round 9, go ahead and put a slip stitch in the end. Clip your yarn and pull it through. And I actually did not stuff the tail at all. I didn't think it needed it. You're going to sew the tail on with the thick side pointing down. And you're going to sew it on exactly like you sewed on the arms. So go ahead and sew on your tail at this point. Next we'll be doing the flame for the tail. So you're going to need your bright yellow, your pumpkin orange, and your hot red. And you're going to begin with the bright yellow by making a magic ring of 6. I will let you make that magic ring of 6, and then I will meet you right back here. For round 2, you're going to be doing an increase in every stitch around. So at the end of round 2, you will have 12 total stitches. So go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over, there's your single crochet, and put a second single crochet into that stitch. Do that 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12 at the end. And don't forget to crochet over this yarn tail so we can clip it at the end of that round. I have just completed round 2. I'm going to clip this yarn tail and we're going to begin round 3. For round 3, we're going to be doing 2 single crochets in this color. On the second stitch though, we are going to be switching to hot red, and I will show you how to do that. So there's my first single crochet, and my second single crochet, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up like normal, but then you're going to wrap your red around and pull it through. And we're going to be doing 4 single crochets with the hot red. Go ahead and crochet over these 2 strings so that they will be hidden. 1, 2, 3, and 4. On this 4th stitch, we're going to switch back to the bright yellow. So pull up the red like normal, then drop the red and grab your yellow string and pull it through. All right. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets with this bright yellow. And on that second stitch, we're going to switch to the pumpkin orange. So pull up like normal, and I'm actually going to clip this little red one right here because we don't need it. It has plenty. It's tucked in good. That's what I was trying to say. Now we're going to grab our pumpkin orange and pull it through. I'm actually going to clip that a little more. Now we're going to do 4 stitches with the pumpkin orange. Don't worry about this red one so much, but make sure and tuck this in really good right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the end of round 3. Now, on this 4th stitch though, you're going to switch back to your yellow. So it's still round 3, but we're switching to yellow, and it's like a hidden stitch, if you can see that. Alright, so now with our bright yellow, we're going to do 5 stitches. This is round 4. You're going to do 5 single crochet with a bright yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on that 5th stitch, we are going to switch back to the red. So pull up the yellow, drop the yellow, grab the red, and pull it through. Now I'm going to clip this orange one, and from now on, because I've already done it. These are kind of crisscrossing in there. From now on, I'm gonna make sure and crochet over all of these so that they're not just like crisscrossing on the inside of this little ball that we're making. So now we are going to be doing 2 single crochets with the hot red, and we'll be switching back to bright yellow. 1 and 2. Switch back to bright yellow. And see how it kind of creates this little flame pattern? Now, we're going to do 4 single crochets with bright yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. On this 4th one, we're going to be switching to our orange. So drop the yellow, switch to the orange. And we have 2 single crochets left with the pumpkin orange. 1, and 2. Switch back to bright yellow on that 2nd stitch. And that completes round 4. For round 5, we're going to do 3 single crochet with bright yellow, and then we're going to do 1 decrease with bright yellow, switching to red on the decrease. So 1, 2, 3, and now our decrease. Insert your hook, pull up a yellow, insert your hook, pull up yellow, drop your yellow, grab the red, and pull it through all 3 loops. Okay? Next, you will be doing 1 decrease with the red, switching to bright yellow on the decrease. So grab your red, insert it, pull through with red, insert it, pull through with red. So you have 3 red loops on your hook. Drop the red, grab the yellow, and pull through all 3 red loops. This creates that flame shape. Kind of cool. Alright, next we will be doing 1 single crochet with the bright yellow, and 1 decrease with the bright yellow, switching to pumpkin orange on the decrease. So insert your hook, pull up yellow, insert your hook, pull up yellow, pull through with orange. Next, we will be doing 2 single crochet with pumpkin orange, switching back to bright yellow on the decrease. 1 single crochet. Wait, did I say that right? 2 single crochet switching to bright yellow on the second stitch. Whoops. Wait a second. Somehow I got mixed up. See that stitch right there? It'll be okay once you fluff it out. Okay. I'm going to do one more orange. If you mess up on this part, it does not have to be exactly perfect. As long as you have a chunk of orange, a chunk of yellow, a chunk of red, you will be fine. It will look similar to this once it is. See, you just need a chunk of yellow, a chunk of red, and a chunk of orange. Okay. We made it to round 6, which is our final round for the flame. And you're going to begin with a decrease with bright yellow, switching to red on the decrease. Next, you're going to do one decrease with the hot red. Uh-oh, my battery is low. So right here. And right here. Now get that yellow and pull it through, switching back to bright yellow. Oh, I was wrong. We're switching to pumpkin orange. I hope that can, okay. I'm gonna put that back in, back in, back in. We're switching to pumpkin orange after the hot red. Now one decrease with the pumpkin orange. And now we are switching back to bright yellow. And one last decrease with the bright yellow. Right here. It's really tight. Just work with it. And then go ahead and do a slip stitch. And I'm going to clip all 3 of these colors. Pull that through. Okay, now I tie this yellow and red together. And I didn't stuff this. I didn't think it needed it. It's just going to be fluffy flame. Now taking this yellow and red, trim them so they're the same. Grab your yarn needle. And pull this down through. Oh, come on, don't be stubborn. Pull it down and clip those. We don't need them, they're tied off. But we do need this orange. But we want it to go through, down there. But we're going to keep the orange because that's what we're going to sew it onto the tail with. Now we're going to fluff this, and I will show you how to do that. I'm super excited. So as long as you have, like I was saying, a chunk of red, a chunk of yellow, a chunk of orange, just so that when you fluff it, it looks like flames. What we do last for the tail is we brush out the yarn. I'm going to quickly show you how to do a little piece of it, and then I will leave you to do that on your own. So just firmly grab your flame, and since we didn't stuff it, you can kind of manipulate it. You just need to go back and forth and see how it's starting to fluff out. A couple tips on this: don't do it too hard in one area. You want to keep rotating as you go, because I have ripped through before. So you want to be gentle and you want to keep rotating. And you can also grab it from this side and pull it down like that. And then at the end, just turn it around and fluff it all to one side. So I'm going to go ahead and fluff the rest of mine out, and I will meet you back once your tail is nice and fluffy. Once you get your flames all fluffy and how you want them to look, go ahead and sew them onto your tail. And I just go back and forth a couple times to secure it, just like I did with all the other pieces. So I will see you when we are getting ready to do the belly. So have fun sewing your tail on. Once you get your flames sewn on, go ahead and string the rest of the yarn tail up through the back, because we're going to use it to tie the belly with in place. So we're going to start on the belly, and you're going to grab your lemon yellow yarn. I just love saying that. Lemon yellow yarn. And we're not starting with a magic ring. Crazy, right? So we're going to start with a foundation chain of 12 instead of a ring. We're going to be kind of making an oval shape. So go ahead and chain up 12. 1, 2, 3. I have just finished my foundation chain of 12. Next, we're going to turn. That chain 12 is your turning stitch. And you're going to single crochet 10 down this row. So you're not going to go into that very first stitch, you're going to go into the second stitch, and you're going to do 10 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and I will meet you when we get to 10. I have just finished 10 stitches. Now, on this last single crochet from the foundation chain, we're going to put 3 single crochets into that stitch. And this will help us turn. So 1, 2, and 3. And now what we're going to do is crochet up this other side. We're going to single crochet 10 back up to the top of here. So I want to catch this so we don't have to sew it in later. 1, 2, and I will meet you when we get to 10. Now when you get to 10, you're going to go ahead and clip this yarn tail that we sewed in, crocheted over I mean, and we're going to slip stitch to this stitch. Woo! And now we should have 24 stitches all the way around this oval. So go ahead and single crochet one stitch into every single stitch, which will be 24 stitches all the way around. So I just done 2, and I will meet you back when we have done 24 stitches all the way around. I just finished up round 3, which is 24 single crochets all the way around. Now round 4 is a little bit funny. I wrote it a little funny on the pattern, but I think I'm going to leave it because I don't really know how else to write it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do round 4 with you. We're going to do 2 single crochet into the next stitch. One, 2. So basically an increase. And then we're going to do 2 single crochet into the next stitch. 1 and 2. We're going to do a half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that was your first one, and we do that 2 more times. Half double crochet into the next stitch, and a half double crochet into the next stitch. Now, the next stitch is going to be 2 double crochet into the next stitch. So it's basically an increase, but a double crochet increase. 1 and 2. And then we're going to be, so we created this, oops, that was a half double. 1 and 2. Okay, so we are creating this going up and down like a pattern like that. Now we're going to do 3 half doubles, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets and 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to repeat everything we just did on this side so that it matches exactly. So go ahead and do 2 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, 3 half doubles, 2 double crochets into the same stitch, 3 half doubles, 2 singles and 2 singles, and then you'll be at the end of your round. Once you have repeated on the other side what you did on this side, you will have 3 stitches remaining, so you're going to single crochet into each one of the stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to chain 1 and turn. So we've got the belly portion done, but now we're going to be working on the tail portion. Now, round 5 through 13 are exactly the same. So we chained 1 and turned. We're going to insert our hook and single crochet 2 stitches. And then we are going to chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to insert our hook and single crochet 2 stitches. Now do this all the way until round 13, or you might notice you might have to go a little farther, or you might not have to go as far. What you want to do is put your belly right here and wrap it around, and you want to make sure that your tail piece, starting up there, reaches all the way to here. So you're just going to be doing single crochet 2, chain 1 and turn, single crochet 2, chain 1 and turn, all the way to the end of this tail piece, so that when you sew it on, it's a continuous piece from the belly to the tail. So every Charmander that you make may turn out slightly different. This time, in my pattern it says do not chain 1 and do not turn. But this time I did need to chain 1, and when I got to the end of this 2 single crochet, chain 1, turn. So I did 2 single crochet and I chained 1, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet around the entire belly piece to give it a very finished look, so that it's not zigzaggy, crooked. I was trying to figure out a good word to use, but I could not find one. So you're gonna just go ahead and start single crocheting down this tail piece into each spot. And this way, instead of it looking a little bit jagged, see how it's jagged on that side? Show you. Jagged, it's going to be quite straight. And it's just going to give a finished edge around the whole piece. So I will meet you back after you've done that. It's approximately 51 stitches. It may be more or less if you had to do this piece longer or shorter. Once you get done with making your finishing edging, go ahead and slip stitch and clip your yarn and pull it tight. Then you are going to pin the belly on to Charmander. I am loving it. It looks super cute. Careful, because I just stabbed myself and it hurts really bad. Okay. Oh, I made that a little long. My last one I made a little too short. So I made it a little longer this time. It'll be okay. I think it'll look cool. Okay, so go ahead and get your yarn needle. And begin sewing the tail. Just go back and forth and try very hard to stick right underneath these initial stitches. So that way, when you're sewing, the stitches are pretty much hidden behind each crochet stitch. Alright, I'm going to sew that tail and leave you to it. I will see you back in a little bit. Once you get his belly completely sewn on and up the tail, I definitely could have gone shorter on the tail. Yeah, just be mindful of that. Insert your yarn in and go all the way up your tail and come out where you have your flame, and go ahead and tie these two yarns together. I do a double knot, and then I if I can grab them both, put them on the yarn needle. Yeah, this is not cooperating. Put them on the yarn needle, and okay, we'll see if it works. And then I just poke it through, pull the knot, and clip it. And poke that in. And now we do our legs. And that is the final step, the legs. Yay! To begin the leg, you're going to do a magic ring of 6 single crochet. And then you're going to do back loop only 6 single crochet. And make sure and get that yarn tail crocheted as you're going. 1. So I will meet you back when you do 6 back loop only for the second round of the leg. I have just completed round 2. I'm going to clip this second yarn tail and just get it out of here. We're going to begin round 3, and round 3 is 6 single crochets. So 1 single crochet in each stitch around. 1, 2. So I will meet you when we get around 6 for 6 single crochets. 1 single crochet in each stitch. I just finished round 3 of 6 single crochets around, and we are going to be doing round 4 now. Round 4 is 2 single crochets, 3 increases, and 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then 3 increases, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. On our last one, 1 and 2. Now you have 1 single crochet, and at the end of that round, which is round 4, you will have 9 single crochet. So if you go back and count, you'll have 9 single crochet. Round 5 and 6 are exactly the same. You're going to do 1 single crochet, and then 7 single crochet in the back loop only, and then 1 single crochet. Then you're going to slip stitch and clip the yarn. So 1 regular single crochet, and then 7 single crochet in the back loop only, and this is going to form his knee. So 1, 2, and I will meet you back at when we get to 7. I just finished my 7 single crochets in the back loop only. Now we have 1 single crochet left, and we repeat that again. So 1 single crochet, 7 single crochet in the back loop only, and 1 single crochet. And I will meet you when we get done with that round, which will be round 6. I just completed round 6, which was 1 single crochet, 7 single crochets in the back loop only, and 1 single crochet. Now I'm going to do my slip stitch. I'm going to clip my yarn, and I'm going to pull it tight. Now, this created it to be like a bendy knee. And so we have 2 of these, and go ahead and sew them on in between the yellow and orange, right there. So that it appears like the leg is just right attached to all that. So I'm going to sew this on off camera, and then we'll come back for the toes. I just finished sewing on his legs, and you can see it looks pretty cool. Next we're going to sew on his toes, and this is the very last thing I do, and I use a cream colored yarn about 6 inches long, and just get it on your yarn needle. Go in the very bottom of his foot, that little round circle, and come out right there. Go back in that circle, come out, go back in, and make sure that's coming out where I want it. And go back in, and come out in another spot of his leg. And then get this one, go in and come out on that same exact spot. Tie it off. And then tuck it in. So there you have your 3 toes. Do that on both sides and we are finished. Woohoo! And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching my how to crochet a Charmander amigurumi style. I hope you are having a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Super excited to donate all of these guys to the Phoenix Children's Hospital in December of 2019. So we are going to be doing all 150. Have a wonderful day. Bye.